Who are you?
So I'm Laura Keith, and I'm the CEO of Hive.
You already got super serious.
I know, but how do you not?
Honestly,
How do you do that one?
I don't know.
I'm Laura Keith. I'm the CEO of Hive Perform.
Nine months ago,
Yeah.
you got introduced to UNTAMED
Yes.
via an email. Laura, hi. Meet Rebecca and Kelsey.
Yeah,
They're
that was
from
right.
a brand agency.
Yeah. So prior to that email, we had an agency,
Okay.
and we were paying, I don't know, £2,000-3,000 a month, and we would, put a request in, it'd sit in a list, it would take forever to come through. The design on it, there was no creativity, it was just a kind of submit, return. Like the value I was getting back from what I was paying was minimal, and we were, as always, looking at costs and efficiency, and it just didn't feel right. It didn't. So I'd never explored working with a different agency before. It was the first time I suppose, stepped into looking at marketing and what it meant to grow a business. I was a brand new CEO, so
Okay.
this is kind of, working a lot out from the start. And then I spoke to Lee, who's another CEO across the investment group, and he was like, you need to speak to Rebecca and Kelsey.
Okay.
And that's how we got the email. And then I think from there, I was still, at that point in time, I had a very streamlined team. So we were trying to pivot a business that had been a small to mid-sized business, successful. AI had kind of kicked off. The business we were running was going to be dead in a year, 2 years' time. So my job was to pivot it, and pivot it fast, use AI, build new products. So we're in a situation where everything had to stop and start again. We had to reimagine what we were doing, rethink how we operated. I was new to role, so we were kind of working everything out as we went. And so at that point in time, I was probably naive to know where I needed to go. We weren't producing what we needed to produce. We weren't getting our messaging, our positioning clear, which came a lot from me, but I was trying to work out what that was. But fundamentally, I was introduced to you to go, can I switch out my agency?
You wanted creative assets, pretty much. That's what you wanted.
Yeah.
Like I remember,
At that point in time,
we
that's
need
what I
branding
wanted.
and we need graphics. We need the look and feel.
That was right.
That was about it.
Yeah.
And then we met.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what the hell was L&D.
So was I, probably.
I knew you from an interview that we had to edit. So from a contenter point of view.
Yeah, we'd worked together. Well, no. We hadn't met.
Yeah, we
You were
didn't
just
meet. Yeah,
the team
I
that
met
edited
Izzy
it.
before.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that interview said, I have no idea what I'm talking about. And that was like, okay, I like her.
Yeah.
Because you're so honest.
I think also something that's probably quite important here as well is I had 2 junior marketing managers at the time who were looking to grow their careers in marketing.
Yeah.
But they'd started a startup or a pivoting business that was flipping back into a startup on a lean cost base and no marketing expertise above them. So both high agency, both creative, working things out themselves, but I think there was a big gap for them in terms of understanding how to create the strategy, form the kind of position, those types of things. So we had bigger gaps than I appreciated we had at the time. I think that was that first conversation with you and Kelsey, both together.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'm rethinking what it was like, but I'm pretty sure the 2 of you had been boxing or something, but you both had I think almost like wet hair, like you'd been doing something and you both turned up, you're both sitting right next to each other into the camera.
That's it.
And I remember the initial start of the conversation was all around agencies.
Yeah.
And then I think you just kept asking questions, which I think is something you and Kelsey do all the time.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like throughout the whole process, even today. Not like coaching questions almost. Where are you at with your marketing? Not just, we can be your agency. These are things we do. Here's the list items. You might have positioned yourself to be faster, better, whatever. You sort of let me feel comfortable that all of that was available. but then asked more. You wanted to know and you wanted to understand what business you were working with. So I felt like I'd gone through that first hour was like a coaching conversation, but I wasn't expecting it. So I think what you got from me was like a, you know, everything. This is where we're at with our marketing. These are the challenges we have. These are the problems we face. It almost felt quite cathartic for me. And probably mental for you in terms of like hearing the whole thing.
I love context, right? And for me, like I ask a lot of questions, and so does Kels.
Yeah.
Because we want to know the context. Because I think so much of a business is personal. And like what is driving you to continue to want to build something.
Yes.
So like your marketing, it has so much like personality and your personal experiences in it.
Yeah.
So like we ask questions because we want to know like what is in it. A lot of people have PTSD with agencies.
Yeah.
So you worked with another agency, but as soon as we introduce ourselves as an agency or brand and marketing, people have like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Did you have that with us?
No, I suppose I wasn't convinced that I believed in agencies, but I had a need.
Yeah.
So I didn't enter the conversation going, I don't like or I like agencies.
Okay.
I was definitely entering the conversation going, I've had an agency and that value for money is not, I'm not on board with that. And surely that the world can look different and be better. So I think that's how I'd approached it. So I wouldn't say PTSD, but my experience to date of an agency was like a processed factory.
Okay.
Rather than something that should be, in my opinion, delivering value and moves the dial on something that helps my business to create more brand awareness or create, increase my funnel or optimize a customer experience.
So every agency is like one size fits all.
In my experience to date was just, can someone make this look pretty? And to be fair, I'm not even sure that was what I was getting. I was just getting information put into PowerPoint decks with some branding around it. So, and maybe that works for some people. Like that's fair. Like if I would imagine if you've got a large enterprise organisation with a huge internal in-house team, maybe that's the kind of agency you need. I don't know. I've not been in that world. So there might be a fit for these types of things somewhere. But in my experience, anything you pay for should deliver value back to the business. True. And I was paying too much money and not getting enough value.
Retweet that. Cool. So fast forward.
Yeah.
You sign up your contract for something, which was UNTAMED coming in. My first job was actually in product. That's how we kind of like, maybe this is where we need more help, product marketing. And then Kelsey and I flew to the UK to meet you in person. And then you had a meeting with Kels. And then out of that meeting, you said, I think you should become the head of marketing. You're like, okay. That was quick. Yeah. Fast forward, I've been here for, I think, 9 months, 10 months.
Yeah, it was meant to be a short...
It was supposed to be 3 months.
Yeah, so I had a gap. I just had a head of marketing leave. We were still working things out. There was a lot of trying to work stuff out.
And a lot of slide decks.
A lot of slide decks.
That's how you process.
Yeah. I think I could see straight away from meeting both of you is you were trying to work out how to solve the problem to deliver value, not just going, I've got something to give you that you need to pay for, and this is a business transaction. I think it was both Kelsey and I sort of went, do you know what? We can create much more value faster if we do it this way. And so the original idea was 3 months. They're like, okay, 3 months in and out, we'll change things around, we'll train up the team. But yeah, and like I said before, for me, I shouldn't pay for anything that isn't delivering business value and helping you to change or grow or make things better. And so instantly that's what was happening. And so it just felt natural to go, well, why would we change that? So yeah, so we just kept going.
And then after 4 months I was here, there was a whole idea that we needed a new product. Hive Perform was born.
Hive Perform was
born.
A
completely different brand.
We were sitting in that office over there, throwing words around. But the speed of which that then became a brand and a name and embedded in the business and logos, previously, so about a year before that, we first knew we needed to change. The first thing we thought was we need to change, we need to move away from what was old and into new, and actually brand is a really great way of doing that. So let's redesign what we look like. So we'd done a piece of work with a creative agency to like reform our colours, our palettes, that kind of stuff. And that was like a whole process that went on for a little while, lots of decision makers. I just fast forward to the year after, where I think we really did land on the change process. The speed of which we were just like, it makes sense, we've got it. We know what this brand is, what it looks like, how it feels, and obviously it takes some iteration from there, but there was no 4-week, 6-week process. Before we were even sitting down exploring those ideas, you'd already put together the palettes, but like 3 or 4 different palettes, so we could just look at it, a couple of different words aligned to it.
Hive Perform possibly was the quickest brand we've ever come up with as Untamed.
Really?
Because it was so quick in even iterations. Often like you have like 5 rounds of iterations and there's like, oh no, what about this, what about that? And I think we had 1, so it was like,
it's done. We knew
done.
I think we just knew it was right. And then you know it's right again, and you don't iterate when everybody else just picks it up and there's no questions around it. And then I get people across the portfolio companies coming up and being like commenting on what the brand looks like, what it sounds like oh, I really like Hive Perform, that makes sense. It just caught on, and then that's when you know you've got it right, I think. That the other thing actually you do in particular is you pushed me. So you didn't just go, what do you need, I will deliver. You would always push and challenge the business to be better and me to be better. So things like branding, like you owned it like the police officer in the business. And you weren't scared to call out or have conversations. You didn't just come in and do what was asked, you came in and made it better. I think that's really cool. Like if anyone sent out something that wasn't instantly Hive Perform, it was like, that's, we've got to change that, we've got to do this, we've all got to think, look and feel Hive Perform. And again, probably the speed of which we then adopted it was because you drove it. But it needs that. It needs like the push in. Otherwise, it just, you create something beautiful and it just sits on the side or gets half picked up or... but you embedded it, you took it way beyond just creating it. And then the stuff that we haven't touched on is speed and commitment. Like I talked before again about the problem of like things going into, do you remember there was this like a system and you'd like upload stuff and then it'd be like go off into the ether and you'd wait like however long and you'd get like an average PowerPoint deck back. And it like, that's just not, that. Like, could you imagine if that's what Untamed did? Like, the speed is just phenomenal. Like, everything is done like that. I actually think that's part of why, like, working with a team in South Africa, you're almost extending your time zones. Like, I could be firing stuff out, in the afternoon and it's back by the morning because the team have just got that extra couple of hours to get something out to you. Instantly, I think trust builds because, I've got a lot of things to deliver that needs to look and feel Hive and quite urgent and fast in the environment we're in, and like never was that a problem. It was always done, and never was it a moan either. Like even if it was too last minute or probably too big an ask, no one ever went, well that's you're being unreasonable. It was like, well if we can get it done, we'll get it done. And I think that like those things they just build up trust and credibility across the partnership for sure.
So the chapter between Untamed and Hive Perform is coming to an end.
Yes.
But it's been awesome working with you guys, and you gave us a lot of free space to run and try things. We always spoke about Hive Perform, Hive Learning to be a partnership more than just a client.
Yeah, I think that's key actually. But I don't think you can create value or do something amazing with your suppliers, your agencies, if you want to do something where you're growing a business, everybody needs to be in, they need to understand what you're doing. And actually you taught me that rather than the other way around. Felt like you're part of you're part of the team and this is what we're doing and here's how we work, and you're as connected to product, to customer success, to the sales funnel as anybody else. And otherwise it just doesn't work as well. There's something really special about Untamed in terms of, and you and Kelsey, in terms of like you get under the skin of everything, you work it out, you throw yourselves in, and although actually it is you know, the end of our partnership for now.
For now.
It's not the end of working together for sure. Like, no way.
Pinky promise.
Pinky promise.
It's
Sunscreen. I mean it. The other thing to mention is you felt part of our team.
True.
But Untamed is a team too. I remember you working with Izzy, who's our marketing manager, and you know the whole team were there. This was really early doors. Anna and Izzy actually, and you were sitting there, and you showed your entire team to them. Like, this is the person who does X, and this is the person who does Y, and it was all names and faces. So I think that is the vibe you create. You go fully in, but you're also like, this is my team. They're not people you email to get a job done. These are people that are going to get to know you. They're going to get to know what you're trying to do. They're going to understand where you need to get to. Like, I think that's really special, and I don't think that's common in the market to have a business that operates like that. But it also, I think, it will be a huge part of Untamed's success, and it's your USP. I think that you care and you dedicate and.
Like our girls in our office. So this is the end of our partnership. But they were sad.
Yeah.
So like there was like like it was two companies coming into one.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely feels frictionless.